Hello my friends, welcome to another video and part 2 of my market recap. Well, sort of. As I mentioned in my market recap video, if you didn't see it, I'll link it up here. This was the first time that I brought crochet products to market. I really wanted to make this a separate video because there's so much more to share than just what I brought and what sold. This goes way back to the new year and I've been working really hard behind the scenes and I want to share all of that with you today. It's Saturday, January 10th, and I am taking some time today to start working on one of the goals I set for 2026, which is releasing a crochet product. The first task on that list was to decide what 3 things I was going to really hone in on and prototype, because I have a long list. And I have made that decision as of today. I'm even starting to play with names and things like that. I don't know if all 3 of them will come to fruition or I will just end up releasing one, but I'm going to work on all 3 as if they are all going to be released. That way they're getting equal attention, focus, and maybe they will all work out. I don't know. We'll see. I actually developed an entirely new crochet product. I created my very own custom packaging for everything I brought, and I put my own twist on a product that we all know and love. I want to share the behind the scenes, some of the prototyping, the struggles along the way, me bringing the products to the market, and as of today, those products debuting on my very own online shop. But before we get into the whole shop situation, let's talk about the market and all of the products. First, we should talk about why I brought these things to the market. I think I mentioned it in my market recap, but it is not because there was a huge demand. I did not have anyone banging down my market door asking me for crochet products. I just felt the need inside myself to work on these things, and I really wanted to just bring them to see kind of how they felt at the market, if they got any attention. So I did not bring these things to the market with the expectation of selling a bunch of it, but it paid off in so many unexpected ways. Let's start with safety eyes. I really wanted to try batch making safety eyes. I've batch made in the sense that I've made like 2 or 3 pairs of the same color, but it's always been because I am preparing safety eyes for a plushie that I'm making or a bunch of plushies that I'm making. I've never written down any color combinations. I just kind of go with what I feel like for that plushie, slop together some glitters, micas, whatever I'm putting into them, and then creating them. But I did get a lot of feedback recently, especially from new subscribers, on my How I Paint Safety Eyes videos. So I've been working on different techniques and things so that I can make a video about that, which is going to be coming hopefully soon. So I really wanted to sit down, do a batch where I was being really thoughtful about what I was putting together, colors that I felt like others could use that weren't for a specific plushie necessarily, and list out and write down what I was using. And I ended up making 4 colors of a custom blend of glitters as well as some mica powders so that I could kind of achieve a bit of a layered look. One of my biggest challenges in thinking of how I was going to bring these to the market was packaging. If you've been around the channel for a while and seen some of my other market prep stuff, then you know that I try to use as little plastic as possible in my packaging, and that was going to be no different with the safety eyes. So I was trying to think of a way that I could both display them and people be able to see the eyes as well as protect them if they did make a purchase. This is a stack of just some of my prototypes that I went through. I started out with a basic piece of paper and trying to figure out how I was going to fold things. I moved into cardstock, cut things, tested things, refined things. I have been working on this since January. Today I am going to be doing some prototyping, so I thought I would take you guys along with me. One of the things I'm going to show you is some prototyping I've been doing for some new packaging for safety eyes. Basically, what I have here is a way to display, but I wanted a way to be able to protect them as well if they purchased them. I ended up modeling everything in Photoshop and then exporting it out to my Caesar Juliet and being able to cut it from there. I actually have a wide format printer. I bought that when I did my whole little craft reno around the holidays. And that wide format printer allows me to print on a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So I'm able to get 3 of the safety eye packages out of 1 sheet of cardstock paper. I was considering doing a little bit of research and getting this file format into a type of format that could be used by other cutters. I don't know if anyone's interested in that. If you are, let me know in the comments down below. It is going to take some work. It would be free for you, but I just don't want to put that effort in if no one's going to use it. But if you have interest in being able to use a package like this, then just let me know and I will see when I can get some time to put that together and make sure that it's a file format that others can use and can be done maybe to an 8.5 by 11 sheet. After a lot of trial and error, I will show you the final version that I came up with. But first, let me show you the safety eye colors. First up, you know there had to be a purple. So I call this Spellbound Bloom. This is kind of a deep purple with a bit of a goldish tone to it when it color shifts. I had a blue. This is called Scrying Pool. Has slightly of an aqua tone to it when it color shifts. I have a green, which is called Mossy Magic. It's kind of a lovely mossy green with a bit of a gold shift. And a gold, which I call Gilded Prophecy. I'm really happy with how the colors turned out. Like I said, it's a custom blend of glitters as well as mica so that I could kind of get that layering effect. Let me show you how this packaging works for the final version. If I do put the file out, it's not going to have my branding on it, obviously, but this is how they sat at the market. And at the end of the video, I'll show you my whole product setup on the table. But this is how they sat on the market. And then when purchased, all I had to do was basically flip them over. What ends up happening is these holes where the arrows hold the backs on go right over the posts of the eyes. So you're essentially kind of locking your backs on in a way without actually locking them in. Flip it over, tuck it into the flap here, and the safety eyes are now packaged and ready to go in someone's bag and nice and protected. It worked out really well. They looked great on display. And I'm really happy with it. I feel like I achieved what I was out to achieve. They're protected. It's plastic free, recyclable. It is a one-time use, you know, so you would just kind of pull the safety eye back off of it, which will probably tear the paper, which is totally fine. I don't think anybody's like using these cards whenever you purchase safety eyes anyway to kind of put them back on and off, but yeah. So that's the packaging. Let me tell you the pricing. I'm going to be looking down at my screen to make sure I get it right. So I brought 4 sizes, 1 of each color. So 16 sets of eyes. I didn't want to overdo it. I was charging $4.50 for the 20 millimeter, $4.75 for the 25 millimeter, $5 for the 30 millimeter, and $5.50 for the 35 millimeter. I sold none. But what was really interesting was it sparked a lot of really good conversations that I was not expecting. I had them set out and some folks just didn't read the fact that this was like the crocheters section and were like, what are these? And I explained, you know, these are the safety eyes. When you look around at these plushies, everything that's over a certain size, I hand paint those eyes. And several people, you could see it kind of click in their head how much work can go into some of these handmade goods. And I don't know that that helped anybody purchase or anything like that, but I do know that 2 of the people who asked the question actually purchased after that. And I could see them looking at the eyes of the different plushies that they were picking up and looking at. I showed a couple of folks who really seemed interested, like my Buttercup the Bee has, you know, honeycomb shaped glitter in the eyes and things like that. But it really did open some people's eyes, pun intended, I guess, to the fact that there's more than what they're seeing when they look on the surface of just this plushie on the table. Next up, we'll talk about a product that I did not plan to bring, but in the last couple of weeks coming up to the market, I really honed in on it, and that's stickers. I have wanted to learn to draw on the iPad since last year. I actually was taking some online courses, and I really did a lot with watching some free videos on YouTube with a channel called Art with Flow. I'll link it down below. This is an example of what I drew using her course. And it gave me a bit of a confidence boost in that at least I was understanding Procreate, which is what I use on my iPad to draw all of the artwork. But I really just felt the draw to make my own, to draw my own stickers. I had ideas for thoughts on a little witchy theme. And I sat down over the course of a couple of days and just took some time in the evening, and I enjoyed the process so much. So let me show you the stickers that I came up with. I have Stitch Witch, and it's got my little crochet magic wand hook that's from my logo, and a hat. They're all iridescent holographic star laminated. Then I have a crystal ball with "There's a Whip in My Future." I have the classic Wheel of Fortune tarot card with Yarn Chicken, Fate Unknown. Sorry, you're getting a bit of the glare, but I can't help it, I don't think. Then we have a Wax and Wane, Stitch and Chain, and Yarn Magic Brewing. I'm super proud of these because everything is hand-drawn by me, with the exception, obviously, of the text. And then there's these 3 little stars. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there are 3 little stars on each of the stickers at least. And those stars were just stamps within the software, but everything else is completely hand-drawn. And I had an absolute blast making these. And you know, I had no expectations of any of them selling. It is double niched, right? So this is not only crocheters would have to be interested, but you would have to be a crocheter who's into the whole kind of witchy aesthetic. So I had 0 expectations. I priced these at $3 per sticker, or you could get all 5 for $12. As expected, I did not sell any. However, I was texting my artist idol, Amanda from Eclectic Scribbles, and I said, I'm hoping I'm making you proud with these. I drew them all myself, made them all myself. She said that she loved them, and that was all the validation that I needed. Next up is the twist on the old favorite stitch markers. I mentioned in my stitch marker video that I had made my own, and you know, as I was doing this, I was thinking like, I'm gonna make one for Halloween and I'm gonna make one for this. I thought to myself, you know, it's kind of annoying that I have to do an entirely new stitch marker. So I decided to make what I am calling switch markers. What a switch marker is I have my main clasp that is my stitch marker. And then here I've got 2, or however many you want to layer on, smaller lobster clasps so that you can switch and mix and match. You don't have to get an entirely new stitch marker. You can add on different charms, or what I'm calling enchantments, for different seasons. And I was selling these in a pack that I'm kind of calling my starter pack, where there are 3 full stitch marker size lobster clasps and 5 of the little enchantments. Let me show you really quickly first my prototype for the design of the package. After designing the safety eyes, I kind of got the hang of what I wanted to do, and for this package, I just created this simple cardboard, and I knew I wanted to have a way for the large clasps to hook on, as well as a place for the smaller clasps to hook on. So this is what I ended up coming up with, and let me show you the colors that I brought to the market. So this one obviously is heavily purple influenced, but you've got your 3 main across here, which each have an enchantment hanging from them, and then 2 enchantments hanging here. And my little tagline at the top is Mix, Match, Mark. Then I have this set, which is primarily pinks and iridescent crystals and a little white pearl. And this bead here is a little heart, if the camera's not picking that up. Then I have this one here, which has a little crystal butterfly and also kind of the pink and cream and white motif. And then I have this one, which essentially is very spring colored. We've got the pastels and then a little tulip as a focal bead here. These also did not sell. But I really enjoyed making them, and I have so many ideas for enchantments to add, even just for my own. I'm gonna make some summer themed ones, some pride themed ones, some Halloween, of course. I'm looking into various focal charms for like some of them. I'm looking into different materials and things that I can use. So I'm really just enjoying making these, and I'm gonna make a ton of them just for myself. But yeah, so brought the switch markers, and like I said, unfortunately none of those sold. Last but not least is my pride and joy, the product that I created. And because I gotta be me, I present to you my very own infomercial. If you liked my silly newscast video, you might enjoy this as well. Nothing beats crocheting on the go. Hunting for a dropped hook can be a nightmare. This never would have happened if you had the Hook Keeper. Hookkeeper's revolutionary design keeps your hook secure and looks good while doing it. Hookkeeper fits most common hook brands and sizes from 3.25mm up using one of our 4 innovative connectors. It's even got a place to keep your stitch markers. Just pick your connector based on hook size and preferred location, loop it through, attach your hook, put it on, and you're ready for hours of crochet goodness without the danger of losing or damaging your hook. Thanks, Hookkeeper. Hurry, supplies are limited. Get yours at shop.enchantedskein.com. But wait, there's more. If you're among the first to order this limited edition, you'll receive a free gift. Side effects may include peace of mind, continued crochet, and ignoring the person driving. Hookkeeper is not responsible for misuse, losing yarn chicken, or anything else that disappears under your car seat. Used with most standard hooks. Results may vary. Do not use while driving or operating heavy machinery. Do not call the phone number advertised. I love getting silly, and I cannot tell you, I don't remember the last time Mr. Skein and I laughed as hard as we did as when we were trying to film that, because I'm in the front seat, he's holding the camera, he was laying in the back seat trying to get that footage of me reaching for the hook, and it was a blast. I actually did drop my hook in a place that I could not get a hold of it on a road trip, and that is what inspired me to make this product. I also knew I was going to be going on that trip that I talked to you guys in my crochet and chat video, where I was going to be on an airplane for 12 hours total. And I knew that it would be an absolute disaster if I dropped my hook on a plane. I don't really have any footage on this one because the process took so long. I originally created my first prototype maybe before the new year, and just was crocheting with it, and I cannot tell you how many things I tried and failed with. I wanted it to look beautiful, but be functionable, but also be able to make it affordable. I wanted to be able to use some premium materials, but still keep it in a price range that made sense. I tried so many different connectors, so many different beads, lengths. I prototyped various lengths because I wanted to make sure that it could fit folks with a larger wrist, with a smaller wrist, be able to catch the hook before it hit a certain distance. So yeah, this one was a lot of prototyping, a lot of trial and error and do-overs, figuring out what materials were going to work best for the purpose. And all that good stuff. So I unfortunately didn't film a ton of it because it would literally be spur of the moment. I was crocheting with it and I'm like, darn, I need to do this. And I would go do it. And then I would come back and try again. About a month ago, I felt like I had it in a good place that I wanted to share it and see what other people thought of it. So I reached out to 3 of my crochet besties. I will list them in alphabetical order: Amanda at Eclectic Scribbles, Christine at What's Up Cupcake, and Karen at Yarn and Whimsy Designs. And I asked them if they would be okay with me sending one out to them, playing with it for a bit, and giving me their feedback. If you are watching, I just want to say one more time, ladies, thank you so much for testing this out, giving me your feedback. I really appreciate it. It really gave me the confidence to move forward with this thing, and I can't thank you enough. I have been using it personally anytime I am crocheting out and about, waiting at a doctor's office, on a road trip, whatever it may be, and it has come in handy several times. And I cannot tell you how happy it makes me to hear that they've been using it in real world scenarios as well. In Amanda's last video, when she was at her con, you could even see her using it while she was crocheting and talking to the camera. So it just really warms my heart that I have created something that is not only something I enjoy, but that others are going to get use out of too. I brought just 5 of them to the market because they are pretty time consuming to make. And again, it wasn't anything that I had the expectation of selling at the market, but I wanted to at least feel what it was like to treat it like a true and real product, design packaging for it, and have it on display. I'm going to show you really quick some of my prototypes for packaging because I think it's kind of fun to see how these things evolve. I wanted to have something that was similar to the safety eyes where it would close. I always knew I wanted to have my magic wand hook as part of the packaging, but this giant piece of paper, which is like 8.5 tall, was what I originally had planned. I was going to loop it through here and have it hanging from here and have a door that closed and locked in here. And then I realized that this was not very cost effective because it would essentially be a piece of cardstock per item and is eventually something that's going to get tossed. It's going to get recycled, which is good, but It's a lot for just a product. So I then moved on to my smaller version of that, where I was going to have this door and it was going to fold back and be displayed. And then again, I was kind of like, this is a lot of paper. Does it really need to be protected on all sides? It's still going to be sticking out on the back. How am I going to do this? And then I went with something a little more simplistic, where it's just on a card. The hook keeper would be wrapped around. I had my wand, and this is more of where I was going with it. I was going to have the different connectors be able to be on here. And that was a bit of a struggle, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to do the wand. And eventually this is what I came up with, which has got my wand on it. The hook keeper wraps around. The wand is coated in iridized laminate. And yeah, so this is kind of what I came up with, and I'll show you the 5 different hook keepers that I brought to the market. First up, you know I had to have a purple. So this is the Enchanted purple color, and this one's actually got a slate gray, or gunmetal, you might refer to it as, hardware. And then I've got a rainbow cat's eye, and this one's got silver hardware. I've got a pink pearl with silver hardware. I've got a blue pink shift. I don't know if the camera is going to pick that shift up, but this has silver hardware. And last but not least, I had a sparkly rainbow with silver hardware. And since the market, I have come up with 2 more colors, so I want to show you those real quick. We have these natural tones that have a great shine, an iridized shine to them, and that's with the slate gray hardware. And then I have this one, which are these kind of clear purple beads with silver and blue metallic paint splashes on them, and silver hardware. I was selling the hook keepers for $24, and I am so stoked to tell you that I sold one at the market. I was completely shocked. And what's funny is I had left the booth. I don't know if I went to the bathroom or to walk around a little bit, but I was coming back around the corner and I could hear Mr. Skein talking to someone and going, yeah, it's so that when you're a passenger princess and you're crocheting, you don't drop your hook. And he was doing like the pitch. It was fantastic. And, you know, as I'm coming around, I started to get this excitement when I heard him talking. And then I kind of settled because I thought, oh, it's my family. Because my family was intending to come to the market and they don't know what I've been working on. And I thought it's them. But it was kind of weird because it was Saturday and I thought they were coming Sunday. But I told myself it's them. And I walked into the booth and saw him talking to just this lovely lady who was shopping. And I was like, a customer who's looking at my hook keeper. So I kind of popped up and I didn't want to be like, hi, you know. So I'm like, hi. And she's like, you made this? And she's holding the pastel rainbow cat's eye. And I said, yeah. She's like, this is a great idea. And I was like, thank you. I thought so. I said, I've dropped my hook before. She's like, I love being a passenger princess. I've dropped my hook before. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I think I have to have this. And I'm like on bated breath, like, is she buying it? Is she going to buy it? Is she really going to buy it? And she bought it. And I was like, I think I was just in shock. I just did the thing, put it in a bag for her. I told her she was my first in-person customer and I gave her a little freebie. And she was so excited and she was like, I can't wait to use this. And part of me wanted to be like, oh my God, can I take my picture with you? Can I post it on social media? You're my best friend now. You know, and I was like, Chris, that's creepy. Don't ask this lady to take a picture with you. So I refrained. But in that moment, I was like, I cannot express to you how excited I was. So yeah, I only sold 1 crochet product at the market, but that one sale made my entire market. I wouldn't have cared if I lost money at that market. If I didn't make my booth fee back, I probably would not have cared. Someone bought my hook keeper. She looked at it, she saw the use for it, and she bought it. I know that not everyone is into the blinginess the way that I can be. These are all made with glass beads and crystal or hematite spacers. So I am going to be coming out with some other versions of them. And Karen actually had a great idea of coming out with like a sport version. So I am excited to get prototyping on those. I've already started on some, but yeah, I will keep you guys posted as things develop with those. But let me show you you really quickly how I was displaying all of my crochet items at the market. I do plan on bringing products with me to all of my markets from now on, so this setup is going to evolve a little bit. I kind of just put it together last minute, 3D printed some things so that I could display everything and just went with it. Now for the exciting part. As of this video going live, so is my shop. I'm going to be making a separate video about what happened because I did experience some struggles and have some pitfalls and things like that with trying to figure out what platform I was going to use, things I thought were going to work didn't work and stuff like that. So I will be coming out with a video on that because right now the shop experience is not what I envisioned. I am going to be making refinements to that. I wanted everything to be as one as far as my website and the shop, and while they do link to each other, they are two separate platforms at the moment, but I didn't have a choice because if I waited for perfect, I was never going to get it launched. But on the shop, you will find my very first drop of these hook keepers. I have a limited number, 20 of them are going up. I'm doing it at a discounted price of $22. Some of them only have 2 of that color, others have 4. It all kind of came down to where I sourced the materials and what I had on hand and was able to make by today. And like the infomercial said, anyone who purchases a hook keeper in this first limited drop is going to get a free gift. I'm also going to have all of the switch markers on. I believe I have 20 of those as well, 5 of each of the 4 designs. The stickers are up and the safety eyes are up. Now, everything except for the safety eyes is ready to ship. All of that stuff is made. I will ship it out within 1 to 2 days of having the order. The safety eyes themselves, I have a processing time of, I think, a week on there because I am going to need to paint those. But yeah, everything is there. I do plan on adding some plushies later and some other goodies that I'm working on, but I would love if you would go over to the shop and at least just check it out. Give me your opinion, leave it in the comments. I always appreciate any of the feedback that you guys have to offer. If it's successful and you like what I put out, then I will increase what's available, offer more things, maybe even some customs and things like that. Like I said, I have a lot of other products in mind that I'm already starting to prototype, so I'm super excited about where this could go. All of this was a big investment of not only money, but time. I really put my heart and soul into every single piece that I made, and I really do hope that you enjoy them. All in all, when it comes to selling crochet products at the market, I only made 1 sale, but it is a sale I will remember forever. The direct link to my shop is listed in the description box below, or you can use this QR code. If you have not already subscribed, I hope you consider doing so. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.